Hi, I'm Mike from Michael's Motor Cars, located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I'm really pleased to bring a very interesting French car to bring a trailer. So come on over and take a look at it. This last month we actually had two French cars in a row. We had a Citroen 2CV, and then separately we picked up a Citroen Traction Avant. This car is, of course, a 1953 Citroen Traction Avant. It is a normal model. It was made for the French market. So as far as Traction Avants go, it was just a regular plain Traction Avant. The fellow that we purchased it from has owned it for the last 27 years. And he was actually right here in Lancaster, and I had never seen this car in Lancaster. So he owned it for the last 27 years. He was told when he purchased it, it had been a taxi in Madrid, Spain. So whether or not that's true, that's the story that goes with the car. He had the car for 27 years. In 1998, he had the car repainted. He chose this blue color, and the whole car was blue. And it's a nice average driver paint job. It looks nice. The application is nice. It shines well. But when it was all blue, it was a lot of blue. So he then chose to have the fenders and the grille surround painted black. The black paint has not held up well and will need to be redone if you choose to. It has a very rough, I think the clear coat has shrunk on it. So we just left it alone because I'd rather let the next owner decide what color scheme they want. I did just have this car up at Saratoga Springs for the annual Citroen convention. It was the only blue Traction Avant there. Typically these cars are all black. So this was a very happy looking Traction Avant. So come on around and take a look at some of the details on the car. We have the French license plate on the front, the amber driving lights, which are cool. I love the lenses, the original lenses on the headlamps. The overall condition of the car is a nice solid driver car. The guy that owned it locally was an engineer. He did have the engine replaced and he rebuilt the new motor. He chose to go with an ID19 motor, so it's a 1.9 liter four-cylinder. Slight increase in power, better bearings, overall a stronger motor than the car had originally. He did retain the original Traction Avant transaxle, and he chose to retain the original Traction Avant cylinder head. So all the manifolding, exhaust, and intake is original Traction. He did have, while rebuilding the motor, he had the cylinder head rebuilt and installed hardened valve seats so that it can run on regular gas. It does not need leaded gas. He also did a lot of improvements to the car for the drivability of the car. He has Petronix ignition in it. He has a modern alternator in it. Just little things that make a big difference. So the car is really well sorted out. You can drive it around anywhere. I drove it all around Saratoga Springs. It was a lot of fun. Did the Traction Avant tour. And it's really a very likable, friendly car. I love, of course, on the French cars, it's all about the styling. I don't think there's a straight edge on this car. Little triangular step here. Everywhere on this car, it's swoopy, and it has, everything's rounded, which is really cool. On the inside, it's kind of like the rest of the car, very usable, very serviceable. It's certainly not a concours car, but you can take this car to any show, and people just love seeing it. They're just so rare. The instrumentation is working. We did do a driving video. The speedometer's working. He has on the left side of the dash extra gauges. He has oil pressure and temperature there, and they're all working properly. Maintains nice temperature and good oil pressure when it's driving. Citroen always has to put their shifter in a strange place, so the shifter's coming out of the dash, but it's actually very easy to operate. The car is easy and fun to drive. Incredibly spacious inside. I mean, the French, it is relatively low to the ground as far as flat floor because it's a front-wheel drive car. So there's an awful lot of space, more than you'd expect in the interior. And again, because of no transmission tunnel, the flat floor creates a lot of space in the rear seat area, including a third person if they want to be in the back. Very French, beautiful, comfortable seats. It's a fun car to be in. People love seeing this car going down the road. It's so noticeable, and it's just a hoot to drive. We have here the round French scheme here, curvature here. Again, the fenders curve down to the nice step plates here, the plates on the side. He also installed new and more lighting on the car, backup light, more lights so it can be seen while it's being driven, which is nice. Rear of the car, we have a spare tire. The trunk area, we do have the original air intake. He has a regular smaller filter on the carburetor right now, but it comes with the original intake if you'd want to put that back on. When we got the car, when we purchased it, it looked just like this. He also has a third brake light up here. It looked just like this, but it did have some rust in the floorboards underneath the car. We took it to a professional body shop that we use, and please take time and look at the photos of the underneath of the car. You'll see where we had new flat floors welded in, and they were welded correctly and then finished off about the middle part to the rear of the car. That's where the corrosion was. We cut out the old metal, had new metal installed. So it's structurally very strong. It's a unibody car, so it's important to have good strength there. All the handles and everything is correct. Everything's working on the car. So these are just really fun cars. They don't cost a lot to purchase, and they don't cost a lot to run and drive. They're economical. Parts are actually pretty readily available for these cars. And this car is just a nice old Citroen. So it will be a fun auction to see how this car does. He also installed seat belts in the rear and in the front. Seating surfaces are nice. The wipers work on the car. The windshield tilts open for more ventilation, which is nice. So to sum it up, it's been owned locally here in Lancaster, 27 years. All these stickers are all the years that he went to the Citroen convention, usually drove the car there, drove it home, drove it in the tour. I would not be afraid to drive this car in regular tours. It certainly is up for that. And it's a fun, quirky French car. The little bit of work we did to it made it a little more solid, and it's just looking for a good home. So if you have any questions, please contact us. I am not a Citroen expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I'll be happy to tell you everything I know about the car, the newer motor, the cylinder head, the upgrades to the drivetrain. It's just a cool car. So good luck on the bidding, and let's see if we can find a nice home for this French car.